So I have the first remodel of the project. The largest cabinet, the one that one of the miter saws will go on, as well as material storage. I put it in the trailer, and it fit tight to the side of the wall all the way up to the ceiling as designed. But I decided after looking at it that I want to drop that down and use the top as a shelf. So I'll install it, and then after I get it installed, I'll put some plywood strips around the edge to create a little bit of a lip. And I have some things that can store up there. So first thing I need to do then is go ahead and cut this down. I'm going to cut it down about 8 inches, and so it should be a pretty easy thing to do. I have the two bottom spreaders installed, so I can unscrew those and make my cut and just reinstall them.
This will be a quick repair. All I need to do is remove those bottom spreaders and then take the track with the TS55 and just cut those off. It's real quick and easy. And then just reattach the spreaders at the new location, and then it'll be ready to go in the trailer. Now I'm going to work on probably the most complicated cabinet that I have to build for the trailer, which is the Viewtainer shelves with the built-in level storage. And so I'll have to cut a bunch of narrow pieces out of 1/2 inch and some 3/4 and do some assembly. Here I'll be using glue and some finish nails, actually some pins, some 18 gauge pins. And I'll build sort of just an L. The front edge is what keeps the Viewtainer in, and then of course the back edge is what it sits on. So they're different widths. I have to build up, I think I'm going to use 3 of them. I build up 4 just in case I want to add an extra one. Then the sides, those are built out of 3/4, and I'll screw those in, and then I'll use a little rip of plywood as once I figure out exactly the spacing. I made a little piece of plywood that would keep everything exactly the same on both sides. And then I'm pre-drilling and screwing those in, and then flipping it over and doing the same thing on the other side. Then I'll be putting a piece of 1/2 inch on the back, which I'll have to cut once I get this put together and measured. I'll know exactly what size to make that 1/2 inch. Again, the TS55 with that track makes quick work of breaking down plywood, even for a single cut like that. So I'll do my layout. I'll figure out right where I want the nails to go through. And, use my track as a straight edge. So I've got some nice lines, good layout. Putting the ugly side of the plywood out because that'll be buried. Pinning on glue for most of the hold, and then using the same 18 gauge pins to hold the back on and keep it all together. And with the layout lines, I'm able to get right into those. Those are only 1/2 inch wide shelves, so I've got to get those pins right on. Now I'm ripping the strips that'll make the little shelves for the levels. It's a very narrow thing. Again, I'm using 1/2 inch, save a little space. The bottom piece, it will be the one and only piece of 3/4 there. I'll be screwing through that right into the 1/2 inch plywood and into the base of the other, the 1/2 inch base of the other. And then rather than laying this out, I cut some strips of plywood from some of the scraps just as a spacer, so I could use it both to figure out where to drill the holes, but also pull it tight to it and get a nice straight piece there. My first attempt here was to put it on and then screw through the back. And then I switched up and put screws through the front. Of course, it's only going in 1/2 inch plywood. So I put a few through the front to get it good and stable. And then after I got all of the pieces on, then I turned it around and was able to put screws in through into the plywood. So between the glue and the screws, they're going to be pretty stable. And then I'm putting another piece of 1/2 inch on, creating kind of a sandwich here. And again, I'll have the layout done and I'll use screws. This side will be easy to just put screws through and drill everything all at once and put the screws in all at once. It went pretty quick. And here I'm using some 1 5/8" finish head screws. Then I'm trying to clean up everything as I go to sand. Here I'm sanding off all my layout marks. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the stops in, which is just a long screw that'll go through into both pieces of 1/2 inch plywood for each of the levels. I'm using the level itself to figure out exactly where they go, rather than trying to put blocks in there. That way, if I ever want to change to a different level or anything, I can just pull the screw and reset that stop. Rounding over all the edges with an 1/8 inch roundover bit. And again, doing my cleanup and sanding before I put it in the trailer for the most part. Now ready to go to the trailer. Okay, got the hard one done. Ready to move on. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.